dapat payment, it should not make or break your business. Kasi yun talaga na feel namin eh. It was making or breaking our business because ang hirap. Hindi madaling makausap yung mga bangko and everyone, no? And people were saying na, hindi kailangan yan kasi pwede namang mag-Gcash to Gcash lang. Yung volume naman, maliit lang. Sinong small business would earn more than 100,000 pesos a month? Yung mga ganong skepticism ba? Yung inisip lang ng most people is that, ito lang naman yung mga business dito eh. They don't need something better. Instead of, if we give them something better, mas lalaki yung negosyo nila. Then, na-encourage nga ako na mag-apply to YC. Like, I wrote the entire application actually para ako nag-essay writing. And the pitch was, it may be this big today, but it could be 10x tomorrow because of an easy payment system. Kami lang yung tumatanggap ng individuals for a payment system. Wala kang negosyo nun, hindi ka registered sa DTI or sa SEC, hindi ka pwedeng mag-accept ng Visa, Mastercard. So, right there and then, it was the compelling proposition. It was not some big vision na some people romanticize the story na biglang nagkaroon ng bright idea, di ba? Na parang habang nakaupo sa beach and it's like, oh, payment system. Yeah.
Appear tayo dyan. Welcome to the $1 Million Filipino Freelancer, soon to be $1 Million Filipino, or baka maging bagong title which is Kasalanan Maging Purita. Ang guest natin ngayon ay hindi ka pwedeng magdahilan sa taong ito. Okay? Iisipin mo, Totoy ito. Iisipin mo sa mga ka-fellow 90s ko ha, Maladugi Hauser MD ang kwento ng taong to. Pero malakas dating nito. Si Dougie Hauser, walang sa mga LGBT ha. Syempre, he has his own preference ngayon, di ba? Pero ito, Porsche. Fanatic din to. I would say fanatic kasi nakatay ka, tapos ngayon naka 718. Ang guest natin ngayon, ano ba naman yung galing sa Y-Combinator? Ano ba naman ang founder siya ng PayMongo? Napos ngayon may Panyero, the one and only Mr. Francis Plaza.
Hello, hi mga bashers. I'm glad to be here. Thank you sa invitation. And yeah, excited to mag-share ng tidbits of thoughts.
So syempre, kung i-stockin nyo, ilalagay natin yung link, yung interview niya with Ron Bechong. Ang ganda ng interview na yon. Isa sa mga napulot ko doon was that hindi galing ang guest natin, si Francis, sa privileged family. Tama ba?
Yes, oo. So laking probinsya ako, actually Bisaya. I grew up in the province, sa probinsya ng Southern Leyte, if you guys are familiar. So doon talaga ako lumaki. I was born in Mindanao, pero lumipat yung family ko doon. Yung tatay ko, I grew up, security guard siya. Tapos yung mom, yes, oo. So yung mom ko naman, nagtitinda sa, yung school canteen sa elementary school. So,
Public school.
Public school. So doon din ako nag-aaral ng elementary school. And I went to public school until high school. So yun yung growing up years ko.
Alam mo bang may definition ang tawag doon sa work ng mami mo? Ang tawag sa kanila, canteeners.
Oh, okay.
At ang mga canteen,ers, mga Diyos at Reyna yan sa loob ng schools. Kasi kami,
Yes,
nagnegosyo
yes.
kami ng paninda, and then if you are inside that basket ng mga canteiner na yun at i-distribute sa loob ng classroom, may mangyayari sa buhay mo. So the reason why I was asking that is this, na-excite ako. So coming from a not so privileged family, may kotse ba kayo nung lumaki ka?
Wala. Kahit bahay, wala eh. So nakikitira kami dun sa bahay na pinagawa ng uncle ko, parang ganun.
What is it like now that you have a 718, a Porsche, Boxster, tama ba ang 718?
Yes,
Tama ba?
yes.
And galing din sa Taycan, di ba? Taycan. Anong pakiramdam?
I feel na, sinuwerte, pinalad sa buhay, definitely. So, kinikredit ko rin yung the people na nagsuporta sa akin, no? Definitely, a lot more comfortable compared nung nagsimula ako. But siguro grateful mostly. And siguro may responsibility din to make sure na kung ano man yung na-achieve sa life, be able to give it back. Family, of course, friends, and also to make something eh. It's for me, to build something to be used by others, to make other people's lives easier. So yun siguro yung inspiration ko.
May nabasa ako kasi dito sa commencement exercise ng iAcademy. Isa sa mga sinabi mo is this: no matter where you come from, ayan ha, mga listeners, mga bashers, mangilabot kayo ha. No matter where you come from, no matter the odds stacked against you, always dare to dream bigger than your surroundings. Because in those dreams, fueled by passion and hard work, lies the power to change not just your own destiny, but the world's.
Yes.
Were you always a believer in yourself, Francis, when you were growing up? balik tayo sa Southern Leyte?
I would think so. Dahil I grew up, wala akong kapatid, no? So only
Solong
child,
anak ka. Okay,
solong
papiro
anak.
tayo, mga only child. Mga only child, okay.
Tapos yung dad ko kasi 'di ba security guard, so medyo odd yung oras niya. So wala siya either wala siya sa umaga, wala siya sa gabi, gano'n. Tapos yung mom ko nasa canteen. Tapos yung mom ko very protective din. Ayaw niyang lumabas-labas ako. So usually talagang ako lang kahit nung bata pa ako, playing with mga toys, kung ano mang mauwi ng tatay, mga simple ones. Or mostly nag-uuwi siya ng mga nakuha niyang mga magazine do'n sa pinagtatrabahuan niya. Kasi he used to be security guard sa State University sa amin. So maraming nagko-collect doon ng mga magazine, Reader's Digest, ganun. So doon, siguro dahil wala akong ibang kalaro and mostly ganun yung experience ko, doon ako na-inspire kung anong mga nababasa ko noon, no? So from there, siguro it allowed me to think na, kaya ng iba, baka somehow kaya ko rin. Of course, naive thinking siya. Hindi ko naman alam kung ano yung magiging challenges along the way, no? Pero siguro because of that experience, naisip ko na, yeah, I mean, wala naman akong kasama dito, wala akong kapatid. I mean, my parents were supportive, pero who else would believe, di ba? So, other than myself.
Oo, and I think it's also about exposure to the things that we see, whatever it is, no matter how limited. Sa atin, I mean, high five, Solong Anak, high five, Reader's Digest. Paborito ko, All in a Day's Work, saka Humor in Uniform. Ang nakakatawa dito, I think pareho tayo is wala tayong subscription sa Reader's Digest. Mga libre lang, 'di ba?
Yes, exactly.
Pero kung ano yung nandito sa available sa paligid natin, yun yung pinapakinabangan natin. And then eventually nag-grow nang nag-grow. Ang naging tanong ko lang dito is this: when you were starting to get exposed, did you have any inkling at all na you would become, aminin natin, you would become this big?
Actually, no. Growing up, no, as a kid sa probinsya, of course, nangangarap ka and all. Pero wala kasing role model sa amin na mag-start ng sariling business. Startups, wala pa yan nung back in the early 2000, nung elementary ako na. I mean, nobody really has talked about it. Wala talagang example, no? So yung naging ano lang ng parents ko is mag-aral ng mabuti. Yung advice niya, mag-aral ka ng mabuti, go to school. Basically, yung dream lang namin nun is makapag-aral ako dun sa State University na sa likod lang ng bahay namin. No one really thought na, okay, I could do anything bigger than that. So parang the dream was graduate ka ng school, magtrabaho ka, and then, make better than what my parents did. Ganun lang talaga siya. And siguro, I was lucky enough na naging scholar din ako nung high school sa Pisay. Tapos doon, medyo mas na-expose pa ako sa with my peers. Tapos yung mga naging examples ko doon, doon ko nakita na you can do bigger pa. Mapadpad ng Maynila kasi probinsyano ako. So pwede palang mapadpad ng Maynila, makapag-aral sa UP, Ateneo, ganun. Yun yung naging dream ko rin nung high school. But of course, later on, I was able to go to the States for college. Yun, ibang mundo rin naman yun. So mas na-realize ko pa na mas malaki pa yung world. Dami, it's because of the inspirations talaga along the way.
Step by step, bit by bit. And naalala ko, isa sa mga nakwento mo, correct me if I'm wrong, was this: you did not really know how big MIT was, or you didn't even know that MIT existed. Parang ang alam mo lang noon was that there's Harvard, and then accidentally, ay meron palang MIT. Tapos, boom, ito yung gusto ko talaga, computer science, ito talaga siya. May naitulong ba yung, pardon the word ignorance, in order for you not to be so scared of how big you're actually trying to tackle?
Actually, nung high school pa lang, and credit dun sa mga naging friends and teachers ko, no, there's always that push and pressure na try to do something bigger or be different. So, nung high school ako, yung dream school ko talaga was to go to UP. And I think it still is. I still advise my family or my younger na cousins and all na, aim for higher, no, and all that. And pero naisip ko when I was fourth year high school, this was before K to 12. Nung fourth year high school, we were getting ready to go to college. Naalala ko yung sabi ng one of my friends na, everyone's going to Ateneo, everyone's going to UP. Try tayo ng iba. Pero of course, probinsyano, laki ng Southern Leyte. Wala talaga kong alam na iba, essentially, di ba? And no one from my high school at that time, wala pang nakapasok ng foreign university. At least directly from high school. So, yun, sabi namin, sige, apply tayo ng Harvard. Yun lang talaga. Yun lang
Out
yung
of whim.
yes, oo. Yun lang yung named university na alam ko. Because siguro kung ano yung nakikita ko sa mga pelikula and all, no? Yun. And then, at that time, and this was 2008, wala akong computer, walang kahit ano. So sa internet cafe, nagtitingin-tingin ako ng mga pictures. Tapos early days pa ata 'to ng Google Maps, eh. Alam ko pangit pa nung interface nun. I was going through yung campus ng Harvard. Tapos scroll lang ako ng scroll. Then there's this campus down the road called MIT. And I was like, may school din pala dito na ganito. Nung pangalan pa nga lang, sabi ko, anong school to? Hindi man lang university. Parang ganun, di ba? Parang, and all that. So, and then, nung una, ginugel ko siya, one of the first things na lumabas siguro, I think, one of the very few results sa taas was something had to do with Iron Man. Kasi I think yun yung year na lumabas yung one of the Iron Man movies. Tapos, I think graduate daw siya ng MIT. Parang ganun yung nabanggit doon. So, na-curious ako. And sabi ko sa friend ko na gagastos kasi kami for the SAT. Damihan na lang namin ng application. So, nag-apply din kami doon sa MIT. Pero sa totoo lang, at that time, parang laro-laro lang sa amin. Because who would have thought, di ba? Like, laking probinsya, hindi pa ako napadpad ng Maynila at that time. Tapos walang preparation, like hindi ka pinakapag-review for SAT. So, for the sake of applying lang siya, pero in my heart at that time, I already accepted na kahit hindi ako makapasok, wala namang nagbago sa buhay ko. At least malalaman ko kung kaya or hindi. Parang ganun yung naging thinking ko there.
Siyempre, marami tayong mga dudero na mga listeners dito. Baka naman si Francis valedictorian nung high school yan. Kaya hindi niya kahit mag-try-try lang yan, kayang-kaya niya. Valedictorian ka ba nung high school?
I was not. And mind you, hindi rin ako top 10 ng high school.
Uwe!
So, oo. So, hindi ako nag-uwi ng medal nung graduation. And that's a bit contentious kung bakit.
Hayaan na natin sila.
Oo.
Okay.
Pero yes, I was not valedictorian. Tapos hindi ako yung tipong nag-excel talaga sa grades kasi hindi ako na-inspire sa grades nung when I was younger kasi walang pressure from my parents. Kung saan ako nag-excel though is yung mga things na hindi academic. So, yun, tinuruan ko sarili ko mag-programming nung bata ako kasi gusto ko maglaro ng Ragnarok pa at that time. Tapos hindi kasi ako magaling eh. So I was like, I was palagi akong nung kulelat and all that. So sabi ko, maybe I should learn how to build a private server. So tinuruan ko sarili ko, doon ako nag-enjoy. Ungraded yon. And siguro yun yung story na na-share ko rin sa MIT na I like to build things for the sake na, I wanna see other people use it also.
Sige. Siyempre, may super saiyan tayong mga dudero. Nung grade school yan, baka naman valedictorian yan.
Well, yun, yes. I was valedictorian ako nung high school. Pero halos lahat din kami sa Pisay nung mga 88 kami noon nung nakapasok. Halos lahat naman valedictorian din doon eh.
Nakakainis yung gano'n, yung tipong yung grade school ka, meron kang yung level of confidence. I don't know if you have that, pero parang may level of superiority ka na parang, uy, valedictorian ako. Somehow may achievement ako. And then here comes high school. Holy shit. Lahat tayo pantay-pantay. And then I'm not even in the top 10 when I graduated, which again is contentious, pero didn't it have kind of blow your ego na parang, ay, hindi naman pala ako ganun kagaling.
Mas malala nung college. Kasi
Ay, ito yung nasa US na. Nasa
yung nasa
MIT
US
na.
na. Yes, kasi for one reason or the other, kahit hindi ako top 10 nung high school, meron din kasing sort of pride na ini-instill sa'yo ng Pisay na parang, galing ka ng Pisay, you're the best in the Philippines, etc. I mean, looking back, I think medyo dapat i-tone down yan nila. Normal for Pisay graduates, even for those going to UP na medyo may overconfidence, tapos pagpasok ng college, medyo dun na nakikita na wala ka pa pala talagang, good study habits, yung mga ganon. Naramdaman ko yun ng college. And mas malala yun sa akin because when I was at MIT na, everyone talaga, sobrang galing. Like, yung class, yung roommate ko nung first year, gold medalist ng Math Olympiad galing mainland China. Yun, grabe, nerd yun, di ba? Or yung one of my close friends doon nag-perform sa, probably it was the White House or something like, yung mga ganong, may mga ganong record. Tapos sino ba naman ako, di ba? Laking Leyte, high school ko sa Tacloban. Tapos yung feeling ko na I was so confident with math and science kasi galing Pisay. Doon ko na-realize na it was not enough. And bigla bumagsak ako, dalawang subject, math and physics. And those are two subjects na parang halos everyone in Pisay
In
expect
the
you to
same
know.
SEM.
In the same semester. First semester,
Ouch.
first year. And galing pa ako ng Pisay, di ba? Parang math, physics, dapat sisiyo na lang yan, all, di ba? Pagsak talaga. Doon ko na-realize na ang daming magagaling talaga. And it was, I would say, humbling experience na nakita ko rin kung saan talaga ako nag-excel at saka saan ko, kailangang humabol, yung mga ganun.
Humbling is also a crossroad between giving up and pushing forward. You chose pushing forward. Or was there also a point in that stage, yung dalawang bagsak na yun, masakit yun ha? Kasi masakit yun. Na, shit, uwi na lang ako. Hindi yata talaga ako para dito. Before I get to even worse na situation. Kasi it can happen.
Yes, actually, umabot ako sa point na yan na tumatawag ako sa mom ko. And this was 2009. Wala, yung parents ko wala pang Facebook no or something like that. So talagang ano yan, international call. Nagbo-budget ako noon, makausap lang sila and then umiyak ako, sabi ko na first time kong bumagsak in my life. And of all places doon pa. Tapos yung feeling na parang nagkamali ata sila sa akin. That hit me hard, yung gino-joke ko pa nga, well, half meant sa parents ko na I think doon talaga nila ilalagay yung file ko sa reject pero biglang may ihip ng hangin pumasok sa room. Napunta ata sa accept yung yung records ko, di ba? Yung mga ganun. And I almost talaga, gave up at that point. And then, lucky enough, and dito ko talaga, when I look back, credits dun sa mga taong naniwala pa rin, no, regardless. Kasi one of my advisors, sabi niya na, you know what, sabi niya, I don't think it's about whether you're smart or not. It's just discipline. Yun yung inano niya. And then from there, naging mentor ko siya. Parang 3 times a week nagkikita kami. Chine-check niya lahat kung kumusta ako. I mean, not even my studies. It's more of like, nasusundan ko ba yung homework ko or yung basically disiplina or yung schedule ko, etc. And from there, nahanap yung rhythm ko. And when I retook those 2 classes, yung dating bagsak ko na F, naging A+. So,
Wow.
yes, in one semester. So sabi nung mentor ko, sabi niya, see, it's not because you're dumb, it's because you just lack the discipline. Kailangan mo lang talagang mag-pursue. And parang find your rhythm, find kung saan ka mag-excel, kung anong way. Kasi we have different ways of excelling in something. So doon ko na-realize and doon ko na-embrace na, kung ano, I may fail once here, pwede akong, bumagsak here, pero it does not define kung ano yung kaya ko. So doon na-inspire ako to do even better.
At that specific moment, 'di ba, there were those two grades, bagsak, 'di ba? And then the mentor came in. Ikaw ba yung lumapit sa mentor and ask, "Mentor, I need your help?" Or was it just by accident lang na nagkausap kayo, nagkataon lang na sa cafeteria and alam mo, bagsak ako. "Uy, Francis, how are you?" "Oo nga pala, bagsak ako." Paano nangyari?
Yeah, so doon I had to step up. I had to ask for help. Isa rin yun sa mga lessons na natutunan ko kasi before, takot ako mag-ask ng help because meron ako impression na pag magtanong ako, baka sabihin nila na stupid question yan or ay wala palang alam tong taong to. So talaga dati like kung pwedeng hindi magtanong, hindi ako magtatanong. Hindi ako.
Appear tayo diyan. 'Di ba? I mean, sakit siya ng matatalino.
Yes.
Kasi it's so hard to admit that we do not know and that we
Yeah,
need help. Okay,
correct.
and then,
And then yun, so nung na-realize ko yun na yung reason naman talaga na bumagsak ako was takot akong magtanong. Parang willing ako na magkamali rather than na malaman ng iba na hindi ko alam yung isang particular thing, no? So yun, I had to step up. Ako na talaga yung pumunta, tapos hindi na ako tumigil magtanong kahit bahala na anong isipin ng iba. Doon ko na-realize na, you know what, kung ano yung iniisip ng ibang tao, it doesn't really matter eh. What's important is kung alam mo and you're doing better for yourself. So, because of that, yun, nagkaroon ako ng mentor, nakilala ko ng mga professors ko, palagi na ako pumupunta sa office nila pag hindi ko naintindihan yung homework, and lo and behold, yun. So after dun, ganun na rin talaga ako. I was like, bahala na kahit isipin nilang bobo ako basta malalaman ko, di ba? Yung mga ganun.
ano yun tawag dito, dudero ako ngayon It's easy to say right now kasi in hindsight, ganito, ganyan siya, di ba? Pero, halimbawa, the first time that you say, sige, tanungin ko na nga. Pero ang nagiging culprit lagi is that, babalik siya, recurring siya, ay, ayoko na magtanong ulit, ayoko na magmukhang tanga ulit, di ba? Pero ikaw, hindi, tuloy-tuloy lang. Go, go, go. Ask lang. Ask and ask and ask. And I think this is also very important for all our listeners din sa podcast na just because you keep on asking doesn't mean that you're not getting smarter. It means siguro you're more open to feedback and you're more confident and actually you're even smarter kasi you're looking for people who have already done it and failed miserably so you don't have to fail the same way that they did. So after MIT, after that, smooth sailing ka na ba?
Better. I would say better than when I started. Of course, as they say, MIT doesn't get any easier. You just get used to it. So sobrang hirap niya talaga. Pero nagkaroon ako ng, because yun nga, hindi na ako takot magtanong or makihalubila sa mga tao. Nagkaroon ako ng maraming friends doon. Nag-aaral kami together. And many of them ended up, kahit ngayon, like we're still very close. Tapos nag-start na sila ng sarili lang company and we're investors of each other. Yung mga ganun. So it was an experience na beyond the classroom, nagkaroon ako ng support system, which was important. And it was not a lot. Hindi kami malaking group of friends. Of course, may mga, basically just people who believed in each other. And then, yeah, after that, I did better na because yung mga subjects na I was taking, mga subjects na interesado na talaga ako, doon ko nahanap yung interest ko on software, particularly on internet systems, lahat. Yung isang mentor ko doon was si Tim Berners-Lee, who created the World Wide Web. So doon na-inspire ako
Wala
anything
lang,
related.
ano ba, si Tim Berners-Lee na who-created the world. Ano, wala lang, di ba?
Yeah,
Hindi ka na
and
nasa starstruck nung time na to.
I mean, nung una, and then eventually, like, normal people lang pala sila. I mean, you eat lunch together, yung mga ganun. So, may mga ganong scenario talaga. Like, I was in this small round table with, I remember si Mark Zuckerberg. This was 5 years into Facebook pala, or 6 years into Facebook, something like that. Um,
Literally, same table.
Well, parang in a small room, parang
In a
may ano
small
lang,
room.
may
Okay.
session. So I'm one of the spectators and all that. And yeah, like you meet people like sina Bill Gates and all. So nung una starstruck, but at the end of the day, actually, like, yeah, like these seem to be normal people lang naman pala. And marinig mo yung story niya, nobody started great eh. You have to start somewhere. So dun yung mga, more than the academics, na realize ko na mas lumaki yung siguro the depth of, o mas lumalim yung depth of my dreams siguro, na nung bata ako, like, ganito lang, but now it's like, the playground became bigger.
More exciting as well, di ba? And now enter Y-Combinator. Nung pumasok kayo ng YC, PayMongo na ba agad yung idea? Was it a payment system na talaga?
So between MIT and YC, around ano pa yan, there were 6 years of journey pa.
May Oracle, tama. May
Yes,
Oracle
oo.
pa.
Even nung towards the end of college, never ko talagang inisip na I will try startups of my own for many various reasons. Unang-una, no one in the family was an entrepreneur. Tapos, yun nga, hindi nakapag-college yung parents ko, and yung expectation is makapag-graduate ako ng college, magtrabaho sa US, tapos
The safe
petition
route.
silang lahat. Yes,
Yes.
tapos
Oo.
petition mo silang lahat, tapos become a US citizen and live the American dream.
Oo.
Yun
Get
yung
paid like $300,000
yes,
a year,
yeah.
live in a nice suburb, 'di ba?
Yeah,
Family is
exactly.
okay, my own
Yes.
family. Okay, and then
Yun talaga yung dream. And again, as I guess similar to the previous stages of my life, may mga nangyayari talagang different along the way. Mga inflection points, no? Nung una tinry ko na mag-work for a corporate job, which basically ended up being Oracle, because aggressive sila masyado. Parang first week pa lang ng fourth year, may job offer na. So parang sabi ng parents ko, sige, kunin mo na yan. At least wala ka nang iisipin. No? Parang feel mo secure ka na the rest of your fourth year. So kaya ko siya kinuha. And then, paid well.
magkano
Tapos,
sweldo? Magkano sweldo?
at that time, this was 2013. It was like $120,000 a year for entry level.
Not bad. Tapos ang
Yeah.
magiging net would be roughly mga 60, 70,
Siguro mga nasa, hindi naman.
80 pa?
Mga 80 pa, ganun, oo.
Malaki, 'di ba?
Malaki, malaki.
Oo.
And I was 20 years old lang at that time. So
Oo.
medyo attractive and all that. So safe route talaga siya. Pero when I started nung nagsimula na ako mag-work there, it was a big company, of course. Tapos big team. Honestly, parang, I mean, it was comfortable. You work from 8 to 5. Pag uwi mo, wala ka nang isipin kasi you don't own the company naman, di ba? And because you are paid well, you live okay. Tapos, alala ko na my first car was an Audi A4 pa at that time for a 20-year-old. I was like, wow.
Wow.
Di ba? So,
Pwede.
comfortable.
Teka lang,
Uh,
teka lang. Were you like consistently dating at this time? Na
mm.
sige, gimmick, ganyan?
No, I was with someone also at that time. Pero honestly, like working, hindi siya inspiring. Of course, we were tackling, big software problems kasi yung mga clients ng Oracle naman, mga Fortune 500 companies, di ba? Pero from an impact perspective, at least for me personally, hindi ko siya na-feel. Yung mga job ko noon, especially starting lang ako noon, yung mga na-assign sa akin parang, oh, update mo lang tong color ng ganitong button na to. Yung mga ganon. And of course, for some people, it's like, yeah, gawin mo lang. Ang dali-dali lang. Pero I wasn't challenged. So, doon ko na-realize na I wanted something else. And contrary to the initial American dream story, sabi ko, sige, try ko something else. Doon ako napadpad ng Europa ng 2016. So I was 23, tapos again, single na at this stage. And then, uh,
May ipon,
uh,
'di ba?
actually not much to be honest. Kasi medyo, ano,
May
medyo
luho, may
may
luho na
luho
konti.
before. Oo.
Nothing wrong, 'di ba? Okay.
Yes. And
So
then,
Europe tayo, Europe.
yeah, I moved to Europe. I lived in Amsterdam, which is the best place when you're 23 and you're single.
No
And
comment.
and I worked for a small company. Doon, I mean, the pay was lower. Magkano ba yun? It was
Half.
not even half. Oo.
Wala pang half.
Wala pang half.
Wala ring
Yeah.
A4.
Wala. I mean, I had to be in public transportation kasi vehicles are mas mahal sa Europa. Because in
Yes,
the US,
oo.
medyo spoiled sila dun eh. So, hindi ko kaya yon. Tapos, yon, hindi ko na-afford na yung the same apartment na kinuha ko sa US. So, it was also another humbling experience. And because I joined a small team, pang ilan ba ako nun? Parang employee number 8. Basta one of the first 12. And then sa engineering, kasi I did software. Sa engineering naman, parang I was employee number 3. Di ba? So, very small team. And dun ko na-realize na even though the pay was lower, sobrang nag-enjoy ako. Kasi every time na may gagawin ako, parang big impact na siya agad dun sa ginagawa ng team. And everyone became friends. Tapos mas malala yung working hours kasi pag startup talagang you have to do everything. And then I realized na dun ako mas motivated. It wasn't the bigger salary. It was the fact na may nagagawa akong impactful.
The changes that you can make, 'di ba? Yun.
Yes.
Oo. Na
Yes.
kahit na sobrang haba yung working hours, sobrang liit sweldo, pero isang ganun ko lang or halimbawa isang line of code, biglang lahat tayo sigawan kasi eto yun,
Yes.
merong malaking stride. Okay.
Correct,
Tapos,
correct. Doon ako na-inspire, I would say. And then, siguro on the other end, yung iba kong mga friends from college, nagsisimula na rin sila ng mga startups nila. So, doon ko nalaman yung Y-Combinator because one of my good friends from college did Y-Combinator. Tapos yung company na sinalihan ko sa Europa, they went to YC. So doon, I was surrounded na ng ganun ng klaseng mga tao.
exposure, oo.
Exposure, correct. Na, I mean, kaya rin nila and all. I mean, of course, it wasn't easy. And then after nun, umuwi ako ng Pilipinas mga 2017. I had nothing here. Wala naman akong, I mean, my family, wala namang business or anything like that. Nakipagsapalaran ako. Basically, first time kong tumira ng Maynila ng 2017. And doon, I had friends naman na we went to high school together. Dito sila nag-aral. Yun yung mga naging first network ko. And then I started growing my network. I met people na nag-start kami ng iba-ibang projects. May mga side gig ako. Talagang, just to find my way in. At that time, hindi ko pa talaga alam anong gusto kong gawin eh. Marami nang nag-fail na projects namin noon. We tried HR software, nag-try kami ng analytics, and all that. So iba-iba. Until na-realize ko, I had an engineering team and fast forward to 2019, we were trying to do software consulting. So nag-try din ako mag-start ng software consulting company. But unlike many of the successful ones, I did not have deep connections kasi to mga big clients. And what we learned, and this was siguro the inspiration to the prelude to PayMongo, was that yung mga projects namin, when it comes dun sa payment part na, like let's say yung project mo is gawa ka ng ganitong e-commerce shop for this particular client, pinakamadugo yung payment side. And yung payment terms usually pag you're running a software company by milestone, di ba? Yung dulo na milestone is usually yun yung payment integration or mga ganito ganon. And because it was so painful, mahaba yung oras and of course hindi kami nababayaran on time and also of course yung cash flow namin affected and all. And at that time we had nothing. I had nothing and medyo ipit kami in that sense financially. Doon namin naisip na why don't we solve the very problem we're so pissed about? And ano lang talaga siya, parang side project. Nobody thought na we would build. Walang nangarap, walang ano. Parang sabi lang namin, solve lang natin. Pag ma-solve to, mas madali yung buhay natin sa ibang projects. Until, na-realize namin, nung nag-start kami nun, yung mga friends namin sabi, hey, gamitin namin yan. And we were like, pwede ata ito maging business. And na-inspired din ako with Stripe kasi Stripe started nung college ako. I went to the same college with the founders of Stripe. Fourth year sila, first year ako. Na-realize ko na, everyone was raving about it and all that. So doon, yun yung inspirations. And wala, tinry lang. Again, ito na naman yung parang, try lang natin. Okay lang kahit hindi makapasok. Nothing will change naman in our lives. But yeah, but we got in.
What was
So,
the pitch? What was the pitch nung pumasok kayo sa YC? When
so
applied for YC?
yeah, so the pitch was simple actually. And this was pre-pandemic. So talagang everyone was skeptic about the Philippines. Kasi wala talagang malaking digital activity at that time. So before YC, marami na akong kinausap, local investors, potential local partners, ganun. And as they say, you cannot be a prophet in your own backyard. Wala talagang naniwala, di ba? And sabi ko, sige,
Ano ba
try
yung
na.
pitch mo? How were you pitching sa mga locals?
So sa mga locals at that time, and again, pre-pandemic, so sabi
Oo.
na parang we want to build a payment solution para anyone can be an online seller. Whether
Mm.
nagsisimula ka pa lang or malaking company, dapat payments it should not make or break your business. Kasi yun talaga na feel namin eh. It was making or breaking our business because ang hirap. Hindi madaling makausap yung mga bangko and everyone, no? And people were saying na, hindi kailangan yan kasi pwede namang mag-GCash to GCash lang. Yung volume naman, maliit lang. Who would earn more than, sinong small business would earn more than 100,000 pesos a month? Yung mga ganong skepticism ba? Na parang there was no foresight kung how big this could get kung gawing madali. Yung inisip lang ng most people is that, ito lang naman yung mga business dito eh. They don't need something better. Instead of, if we give them something better, mas lalaki yung negosyo nila. Diba? So, then na-encourage nga ako na mag-apply to YC. Like I wrote the entire application actually para ako nag-essay writing. And the pitch was entirely that na the digital economy is this big, but the reason it's this big is no one has the incentive to grow online kasi ang hirap. But if we make it easy for people, kahit sino ka man, kahit may idea ka lang sa kwarto mo, and you can launch something easily today, imagine how big it could get. So the pitch was, it may be this big today, but it could be 10x tomorrow because of an easy payment system. And of course, 6, 7 months later, nagkaroon ng lockdown. Yun, we saw na everyone needed it overnight. Medyo naging rin siya, lucky break for us. Essentially, we were one of the few na benefited from it. It was not like some big vision na, some people romanticize the story na biglang nagkaroon ng bright idea, di ba? Na parang siguro habang nakaupo sa beach and it's like, oh, payment system. Yeah.
O kaya yung, I am passionate about payment gateways. Yung tipong gano'n, di ba? Yung sasabihin, hindi. It was just all about trying. And I think that's really important in life, di ba? All about trying, whether it's looking for, since kaka-Valentine's lang naman, looking for that special loved one, di ba? You go dating, di ba? Finding that car of yours, you go trying, di ba? You buy yung mga few second-hand cars and then finally you find a car that you really like. Ang ano talaga dito is, yun nga, attempts, and yun nga, trying. Ang ano ko dito is, so, from getting those feedback sa mga tao, 'di ba, na sabi, hindi naman kailangan yan. Parang it's not a pain in the neck naman. And then you were saying na, but you could be bigger, but still people wouldn't listen, 'di ba? So you can't be a prophet in your own backyard. Hence, pasok tayo YC. And pagpasok ng YC, natanggap sa YC, what were the first few weeks like sa loob ng YC?
It was intense because I think there's one big learning din na I tell people now. As an engineer, I obsess dun sa pagiging perfect ng kung ano mang ginagawa ng product, diba? And nung pag-start namin ng YC, we were already building it for mga 6 weeks or less than 2 months. And even nung nag-start na kami sa YC, no one felt na ready na i-launch. Nung first session namin, so yung nangyayari kasi sa YC is twice a week, you sit down dun sa investor partner or sa YC partner na assigned sa'yo. Just to talaga, parang regular cadence na mag-check sila and all that. And the first question na inask nila is, why have you not launched? And the first week to, they were like, Why have you not launched? Like, you should launch yesterday. Parang gano'n. And ang dami namin excuses na hindi pa
Which is
perfect, may
so
mga gano'n.
against an engineer, di ba?
Correct, correct. So, sabi nila, does it do the bare minimum you want it to do? Yes, pero yung button na to or yung form na to hindi pa ganun ka-perfect. And I'm like, but it can accept payments, can it? It's like, yeah, but, whatever excuses. And they were like, no, you have to launch. So yun, parang right there and then, you have to launch the same day. And takot pa ako nun kasi itong pangit talaga ng checkout form namin. When you look at it, parang, my God, hindi man lang pinag-isipan. Parang ganun yung feeling ko. And we launched. And yun, parang we had 10 users. May isa nagbebenta ng cupcake sa Facebook. And
Lahat to
na,
Pilipino nung
Filipino, yes.
nilaunch.
Oo.
Okay.
We had a user na parang outsourcing siya ng book publishing based in Cebu. Iba-iba na. And it wasn't just our friends in Manila. And na-realize ko na, wow, kahit sobrang pangit ng checkout form namin, people were using it because they needed it.
How did you launch ba, if I may ask lang?
We had a wait list. So isa din 'yon pala. We wanted to, yun, yung validation ng product is to
Yes,
just
oo.
spread the word kahit wala pa yung product. So we
Yes.
spread the word na, okay, ito yung idea namin, and yung wait list yung validation namin na may mga interesadong tao. So nagkaroon kami ng wait list. So we launched by just getting a portion ng wait list. Yun yung nangyari. So there wasn't anything grand.
Oo.
Yes.
Pero how did you get people over to the waitlist? Were you like
Um,
talking to influencers? Were you
no,
doing Google ads, Facebook ads?
we had zero money at that time eh. So talagang ano lang, parang we were incentivizing pala our friends initially before na join the waitlist, but if you refer 5, pwede kang umangat sa waitlist, yung mga ganun.
Parang Dropbox din, ano?
Oo,
Tipong gano'n.
yes, correct, correct, correct. And from 10, naging 1,000 people on the waitlist. At
Teka, na-excite ako.
over 6 weeks ata yun. Yeah, over the 6 weeks we were building.
So this is all, we started all from warm network. You started reaching out then to your own warm network.
Mhm.
Will you remember the first 3 people that you reached out to?
So it was, well, yung startup PH group, it was just some posting there. Tapos yung mga friends namin na nagbebenta ng ano, ang tawag dito, ng mga goods online. And this is Facebook pages pa. And again, ito yung mga tumatanggap ng ano lang, COD nun or something. Ang ganun. Or not even GCash pa, yung bank transfer, yung mga ganun. So, yun yung mga the kind of profile na we were reaching out to. Kasi alam namin na hindi naman namin makakrack yung mga businesses o mga enterprise. Like, hindi mo naman mako-convince agad yung mga online websites to switch, 'di ba? So, ano lang, yung mga small business na may Facebook page. Yeah.
Reason I'm asking is because selling is one of the most common topics that we always have on this podcast. Whether freelancers, entrepreneurs, laging ganon. Kasi takot na takot magbenta. Hala, baka mapahiya ako. Hala, baka sabihin salesy ako. Hindi ka nagkaroon ng ganong hesitations when you were reaching out?
I would say I had kasi hindi naman ako salesperson na eh. I mean, until now,
You're an engineer, di ba?
I'm an
You're an
engineer.
engineer. Oo.
Until now, I don't really consider myself as salesperson. And I'm not an extrovert. Like, I think I am more of an introvert nga. Talaga like, as an engineer, and you know how the sausage is made, I cannot oversell a sausage. Kasi parang, alam ko kung ano yung underlying ano niyan. Yeah.
It, go-
Unlike, unlike
it
may
goes against
mga,
the grain, no?
correct, correct. And yun din naman yung philosophy ko na parang, I sell what is and what it could be, but not overpromise. Ang ganun. But I guess one thing unique kasi with the PayMongo product, especially in the early days, is kami lang yung tumatanggap ng individuals for a payment system. Wala kang negosyo nun, hindi ka registered sa DTI or sa SEC, hindi ka pwedeng mag-accept ng Visa, Mastercard. So, right there and then, it was the compelling proposition.
Sige nga, sample. The first person you reached out to, how did you reach out?
So parang, I remember yung nagbebenta ng cupcake na parang, so we were saying na, hey, do you wanna accept credit cards dun sa, just accept credit cards. You don't have to consolidate na yung mga bank transfer payment, mga screenshots, ganun. Just start accepting Visa, Mastercard. And there was no cost eh. So it was easy for people to say yes because wala namang sign-up cost. Unlike other payment providers before at that time na parang may mga setup fees, etc.
Yes, so parang 15, 30,000 pa, tipong
Yes,
gano'n.
exactly.
With all the documentation na
Mhm.
kailangan mo i-present, okay.
Correct. So sa amin, it's like, sign up ka lang. Wala kang payment today. Wala ka namang babayaran. Yeah. But if you do, we charge you 3.5%. Which is, for them, it's an okay expense. that will expand naman yung customer base nila. Kasi before, yung mga gusto magbayad ng card sana, hindi makabayad. So, hindi na sila bumibili. So, yun yung nangyari.
Sobrang simple lang nung pitch and I think this is where a lot of people, katulad ko, overcomplicate it. 'Di ba? Falling in love muna with the idea, with the concept, trying to perfect it, and then parang sinabi nga sa inyo sa YC na, 'di ba dapat nag-launch na kayo kahapon? Pero ito, ni-launch na. And then, okay, was the first launch. So meron na agad kayong 10 users, meron kayong waitlist. Yun yung smart move, 'di ba? May waitlist kayo. And now you had 10 people who were using it already. Was it all going smooth sailing na or parang, "What? Bakit ito? Bakit nagkaganito?"
No, it was not. It was not smooth sailing. Of course, there was that big spike. Tapos parang first month into PayMongo, na-scam na kami. May mga bad merchants. We lost at least probably ang 1 to 2 million pesos on 1 week, 'di
Ouch!
ba? And for us at that time, that was big money. And
Oo,
yeah, and because yun, parang we were so aggressive on boarding, hindi namin nakita yung legitimacy ng tao, etc.
yung
So
KYC, ito
yung
yata yung mga
KYC, we
KYC,
had a
oo.
KYC, but for the sake of KYC at that time, and when you're starting out, parang gusto mong mas lumaki kaysa sa, you just want to accept and accept. So dun, pero I'm thankful na nangyari yun early because ang dami naming natutunan na how to do things better. So it wasn't smooth sailing the first 3 months, the first 6 months. And may part nga nung towards the end nung 2019, this was just before the COVID outbreak, na medyo nag-slow down and all that. No one was really signing up and all. Lucky break talaga when the pandemic hit. Parang overnight, everyone wanted to sign up. Which meant also na na-test yung platform and there were a lot of fires left and right nung pandemic din because
Which is normal.
everyone was signing up. Good problem to have, I tell the team, na
Yes.
parang daming sumasabog kasi people want to use the product.
Versus perfecting an empty room, 'di ba? Nakakainis dun. Okay, so game. People were now signing up tapos we were, yun nga, trying to kill fires, 'di ba? Itong mga parts na 'to. Nung time na 'to, SEC registered na ba kayo?
Yes, oo. By the start of 2020, we got our license from the central bank rin as an operator. At that time, bago pa lang yung idea ng operator of a payment service. So, sakto lang, I guess, yung timing.
Kasi what can you say about these people na, okay, they think they already have an idea. They think that they're already solving a problem. But now they go into the name of the company, the logo, the website, the business permits. Anong masasabi mo sa mga taong yan?
Siguro I'll share more about this, how based my learnings sa PayMongo and what I'm doing now, no, is I think ideas don't come out overnight din eh. Parang it really is a progression towards something you're interested in. Tapos may mga times din na hindi mo talaga ma-identify agad which paano to, like you have some vague idea of what you want to do, but you don't really know which angle of attack to use, parang ganun. I would say na for me, especially more recently, mas nag-focus ako dun sa, you know what, experiment tayo. Tapos tingnan natin. When we were running PayMongo, side note, siguro I guess to answer your question, this was something hindi namin ginawa eventually, but we launched this dummy website for a stock trading app. Wala pang ano yan. I mean, it was not registered or anything like that. Walang product. But we launched a dummy website to test kung ano yung reception ng mga tao. Parang waitlist, parang gano'n. But there was nothing, like just to validate an idea. And overnight, parang wow. Parang we had like at least 100 people signing up the waitlist. Parang gano'n. And eventually yun, I told it to my friend who ended up starting that company. But had it not been for that validation and all that, we wouldn't have known na interesado yung mga tao. So, advice nga ng YC is do things that do not scale. So,
Lagi, no? Lagi nila
yeah,
sinasabi yan,
yes. So,
no?
parang experiment ka muna. Ngayon, ako, ini-email ko individually yung mga tao sa waitlist, tinitext ko. You're building a product for a set of customers. I don't think it's true na you build and they will come. I don't think, may mga exceptions, pero almost always, it's not the case eh. You have to know kung yung idea mo ba is something na people want, and then, you build what they want.
Ngayon, it's Panyero. Tama ba?
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Okay, ito yung bagong startup na kine-create, okay? How did you come up with Panyero?
I've always, so Panyero, I guess in short, no, ang ginagawa namin ngayon is we're trying to do AI, which is hot. But beyond the hype, we're trying to help legal professionals, aka lawyers, do their work in a much more efficient fashion using AI. So parang imagine mo AI parang paralegal mo or co-counsel, parang it will read documents for you or mag-research, mga ganun. Na-inspire ako dito because for one, growing up, well, mostly nung college, may inkling ako to become a lawyer. So I thought of it nung college. Nag-prepare nga ako for the LSATs kasi yung dream ko naman was like, oh, Harvard Law School, kung ano yung napapanood ko sa Suits at that time. Tapos, of course, hindi nangyari. Tapos umuwi ako ng Pilipinas 2017, 2018. Nag-apply ako for UP Law and Ateneo Law. Nakapasok naman. Pero hindi rin ako tumuloy. So there was always that inkling. And then when I was leaving PayMongo, I had I had to do some of my own mga legal disputes and all that, which, when you're going through that, medyo talagang, it's not a situation you wanna put yourself in. You work with lawyers. It's not fun. Tapos, nakita ko gaano ka-inefficient yung proseso. Documentation, research, drafting, ganito, gano'n.
And the
So,
time that it takes just for you to
time
get an
take.
answer to the question,
Correct.
di ba?
Correct. And of course, nag-add up yung cost and all that. Tapos nung tapos na lahat and everything was done and settled, I looked back and I said, we could have done that from 2 months to just 2 weeks. Parang, what took so long? 60% of the work, puro mga tedious jobs and all. So doon ko na-realize na, mukhang there's something here eh. Pero hindi ko pa alam kung ano yung something na yun. And yung initial idea ko is, okay, I'll explore AI. And at this time, I was no longer CEO of PayMongo. So I had time for myself. As an engineer, I went back to my first principles, engineering ulit. Exploring coding and reading up on AI, building things around it. So, nung early 2023 or mga first half of 2023, sabi ko, sige, experiment nga ako. Hindi ko pa alam anong gusto kong gawin. Lucky enough, I had the early access dun sa API, sa base models ng OpenAI. And sabi ko, sige, paglaruan ko to. I basically took the base model, sabi ko, sige, patake ko nga to ng bar exam. Tingnan natin. Parang ganun. Yun yung naging experiment ko. So, base models meaning wala pa siyang domain-specific training, hindi pa fine-tune, wala ka pang mga documents na pinabasa sa kanya or any vector DB civil, wala pang ganon. Sabi ko, sige, pasok ko yung bar exam ng 2022. Kaka-release ng result nun eh, first half of 2023. Sabi ko, it's a good timing. So, pinatake ko siya and, sumagot naman. 90 pages long actually kasi 6 subjects yan eh. Tapos essay, di ba? 15 questions each. Criminal law, civil law, ang dami nun, mga 6 na subject. So anyway, so pinatake ko siya and then nung lumabas na yung output in a big PDF file, binasa ko, sabi ko, if I were reading it, I'm convinced. Pero hindi ako lawyer, so hindi ko alam. So again, part of the experiment, validation, sabi ko, sige nga, pag-grade ko nga to sa Supreme Court. So luckily, yung abogado ko, kilala niya yung one of the examiners. Nag-random sample si attorney. So, ginrade naman na examiner talaga ng Supreme Court. So, the one who was grading the actual bar exam. And a week later, nakita kami and sabi niya, it performed top 5% ng
Wow.
compared to the bar examinees of that year. And nung una, hindi ko pa pinaalam na AI or anything. Sabi ko lang, experiment, gano'n. Kasi I always wanted to be a lawyer. Dun nung ni-reveal ko na it was all machine, dun na, nag-open yung conversation na can a machine actually do legal work? And of course, the philosophical questions is, the bar exam is not lawyering. Di ba? I mean, bar exam is just one part. So can we actually improve? Yung mga weakness niya sa bar exam, yung mga kailangan niya mag-decide kung anong particular decision sa ganitong scenario, ganun. So hindi siya confident kasi wala siyang training, ganun. So doon ko na-realize yung mga weak points ng AI at yung strength niya. Fast forward, sabi ko, it seems to me na if ganito yung potential avenue na pwedeng i-take ng mga large language models, we can actually build something that lawyers can use to do the work they don't like.
The
Kasi
tedious work.
the tedious work, yeah. Kasi what lawyers are good because of the experience they've built. And you need a lawyer not because parang you want them to just write documents or anything like that. You hire them dahil sa expertise nila. Kasi most of the work naman ina-assign naman nila yan sa mga associates, yung mga draft mo to or ganito mga affidavit, etc. So what if kunin natin yan and make them focus on something na that they're good at, which is the lawyering part. Doon ako na-inspire. Nung sinimulan kong tingnan yung legal industry sa Pilipinas, the reality hit me. The reality is we have at least 40,000 lawyers in the entire country. That's not bad. That means there's one lawyer per 2,500 people. It's not
Okay yung
bad.
ratio natin.
Okay yung
Okay yung
ratio.
ratio.
In the US, mas better, which is 1 to 1,500 because first world economy. But in countries like China, that's 1 to 4,000. So we're even better off than countries like China. But the reality is worse than that. Only 20% or less can actually access legal help. So yung 80% na kailangan ng legal help, hindi sila makahanap. And medyo na-shock ako dun eh. If we have a good ratio, pero 80% of people cannot get legal help, like why? Di ba? And because the system is inefficient. Even pro bono work, magastos. Kaya mga firms ayaw ng pro bono work. Yung mga ganun. So, tapos sa judicial system natin, it takes what, 20 years to resolve a case all the way to the Supreme Court. So, ang daming inefficiencies. Yan, doon ako na-inspire na may AI is not just a nice to have. It is something that could actually change the delivery of justice. So yun yung, I guess, bigger vision. So from there, siguro second half ng 2023, started sitting down, collecting all the data. Medyo naive pa kami nung nagsimula. I mean, me and my friends helping on this. Medyo naive pa kasi parang hindi namin na-realize ang hirap pala mag-collect ng government data sa Pilipinas. So, doon, it took us time getting all the court cases, yung mga ganun, and then training the AI, etc. So now we launched last month. I guess same story sa PayMongo. Talagang, we just launched kahit hindi to yung pinakamagandang software. Basta gumagana, ganun. So, we're just getting feedback. So, early days, we'll see. But I think, there's something going. Yeah.
And right now sa stage na to, are you already accepting na funding?
That's something that I'll explore siguro this quarter or next quarter, or at least the first half. One of the things siguro na I'm doing differently than PayMongo is, yung sa PayMongo kasi nag-raise kami ng funds agad. We had investors and all. It was necessary din for a product like that kasi fintech and all that. For this one naman, I think we can, binubootstrap ko to. I'm in a much better position in life than 5 years ago. So talagang binubootstrap ko to kasi I really believe in this one. More risk, but you take risks to see. And once I can prove siguro some traction, yun, definitely will explore some funding.
And payoff will be a lot better definitely sa ganitong klaseng route na tinetake ninyo, 'di ba? Eto, before we wrap up ito yung mga na-pick up ko sa iyo is that it always comes from a problem that you personally guys had, 'di ba? So payment gateway, kakainis naman to, hindi tayo nababayaran. Okay, legal issues. Ay nako, ano ba yan? Ilang beses pa ka tayo mag-meet attorney para lang makakuha ako ng sagot sa iyo, 'di ba? Sobrang tedious. Meron ka bang parang requirements? Kasi I'm sure these were not just the two problems that you thought of solving. And feeling ko lang nakikiliti, I can see that there are soldiers inside your head, in your brain right now saying na, uy, ito magandang solusyonan to. Uy, pwede tayong gumawa ng Filipino version ng ganitong app na to. How do you filter what problem to solve?
So may mga instances before na parang something was shiny and interesting. So I decided na sige, try natin and all. Me and some of my friends, we tried to build an analytics platform. Tapos
I remember may mule pa yata yung
oh yes, yun yung very first one. After college na parang peer-to-peer delivery. What I realized is they were cool, they were parang maybe worth solving. Pero yung because of the lack of personal investment. I mean, hindi naman investment, more of like parang you don't feel na it was something like painful for you. Hindi ka ganun ka-invested, I think. At least for me, kung feel ko na it was a problem talaga na I myself would be happy solve kasi it benefits me. Mas naiinganyo ako siyang parang isipan ng creative solutions. And I think it's just because, human nature for me na parang kahit hindi man to mag-work all the way, at least alam ko maybe to an extent na-solve ko siya for me. And not a person kasi unlike people na parang you hear pitches na parang okay, we're building this and we're going to change the world. Like I don't think of it that way. Like nobody really thinks about the grand things sa simula. For me, it's like I feel this is a painful problem and we want to solve this, diba? And maybe later on it could evolve to something that will change the world. And I see a clear path na why not. Pero for now, you start small. And I just want something na I would be happy na
solving this problem,
solving
no?
for myself. I guess it comes from that very, very engineering mindset talaga sa simula.
Yung mga bashers natin, tipong, uy, parang may opportunity dito. Teka, check ko muna. Total
Total
addressable
addressable
market?
market, yeah.
Total, okay, okay, profit natin dito. Ay, okay. If this happens, ganito, ganyan. Pero ikaw, teka, is this a problem of mine that I really want to solve? check. O kaya, if this is a problem that I am excited to solve, but wala naman na masyadong relevant sa akin, hindi masyadong check. It's either a hell yes or, di ba, hindi na talaga. Okay. Favorite ko sa interview natin na to is not you being that smart kid. Yung part na nagustuhan ko talaga is you asking for help. Humbling talaga siya. Yung level of maturity at that age na may valedictorian ka pang nung grade school tapos Pisay graduate ka, ay hindi ko alam yung gaano kalaki yung humility na kailangan linukin, yung legs na kailangan itiklop, yung buntot na kailangan mo ibahag para aminin na, sir, I need help. This is where I am at right now. Isa yon. Isa ko pang paborito dito is, technically, hindi ka pa naman nakatungtong ng Manila from Pisay, from MIT, nag-Europe, tapos saka pa lang nag-Pilipinas. Pero ang isa sa talagang nakatulong sa iyo was network. Malaking bagay yung network para kahit saan tayo mapadpad, sobrang hindi tayo parang starting from scratch. And yung network na yun, hindi excuse na hindi ako tisoy, hindi excuse yung hindi ako galing sa elitistang pamilya. Kumbaga, I just built this network and I maintained it. What are the few things that you do ba just to maintain that network na you don't feel like a stranger na parang, "Hoy, guys, I'm back. I need a job." Tipong ganon.
One thing siguro, like, to borrow a quote from, I forget sino nagsabi, probably a famous person for sure. Sabi na, we see far because we sit on the shoulder of giants, di ba? And I always think about it because, and same nung sinabi ko sa kanina na, where I'm at in today is because I was lucky, pinalad, and of course, the people who supported me and the people who paved the way na marating kung saan man ako nakarating, no? And I always credit that. And in the same way, of course, of the privilege of where I am now, ganun din, I'm trying to pay it forward. No, I mean, how, for example, like how the friends who helped me before, tapos now they're starting their own startup, be a mentor to them, or if you have, the extra capacity, invest in them. So may mga ganong situation from, I mean, that I'm in and I went through also. And for me, network is all about parang mutual collaboration, mutual help and all. And it's not something na parang dapat itap mo lang dahil kailangan mo sila ngayon, di ba? Kasi you don't know right? I mean, actually, this is a similar thinking also when I hire people. It's like, I like to work with people. I know that I want someone on the team. If feel ko na when I talk to them, na kung baliktarin man ang mundo, I would be willing to work for them.
Ang
And
ganda nun.
yes. So those are the people I like to work with. Kasi who knows? I mean, sabi ko nga sa kanila when we were at PayMongo, some of the early ones, sabi ko, PayMongo, it will be here maybe the next 5 years, 10 years, who knows? But the relationship and the friendship we will build in this one, it's for a lifetime. And who knows? Malay mo, sila naman yung may bigger idea and they'll need my help. Yeah. So that keeps me rooted and also inspired. And that's why I make myself available to those friends. And, some of them really still willing to help. And they're the ones helping me now. If may mga ideas sila, I really want to help, I introduce them and all that. So I think ganun lang. Kasi, the world is small And, your fortunes, come and go also.
Yes, the world is small, the world is round, fortunes come and go, but the relationships will always be there. Final question, Mr. Francis Plaza, is this. You can answer yes, you can answer no, but just tell us why. Kasalanan ba ang maging purita sa panahon ngayon?
I would say kasalanan ang hindi gumawa ng paraan para umasenso sa buhay.
Sa pool. Bakit? Bakit?
Kasi we are in many ways ang daming available resources. I mean, my story is basically a story of me just taking advantage kung ano yung meron around me and realizing na walang limit sa pwedeng gawin and when you want and dream for it. So, yeah, that's why I try to inspire my friends and my family na you can dream bigger than your surroundings. And kasalanan ang hindi subukan. Kasalanan ang hindi mag-try.
I agree. Mr. Francis Plaza, ang batang na challenge na matutong mag-code dahil ng Ragnarok na yan, ang pinakinabangan ang mga Reader's Digest na inuwi ng tatay niya at was so mature enough to ask for help at a young age of 16. Maraming salamat. I totally believe this deserves a round 2. Hopefully in person. I hope to see you in
Yes.
person. Sobrang excited ako for what's to come with for you. And mga bashers, Francis, saan kanila pwedeng i-stalking? Sa X ba? Sa LinkedIn ba? Sa Facebook ba?
Yes. So I'm on all those platforms. I reply everywhere naman as much as possible. Find me on Facebook, Francis Plaza, or sa X, it's at F Plaza. So either would work.
May humirit na isang tanong. Do you have any plans of being in politics?
Oh, good question. I have always thought about it, pero I always go back to my first principles is may impact but yung gagawin ko diyan to others, 'di ba? Whether I'm in engineering, I'm in startups. So, I wouldn't say no at this point, pero hindi ko pa alam whether I can make a difference. So, we'll see. But as long as I can make a difference, I probably will.
I'm sure you definitely will, can, and are able, and people are looking forward to it kasi, yun nga you are actually the inspiration, di ba, of making things happen. Mr. Francis Plaza, maraming salamat. Good night, bashers.
All right. Thank you. Good night, Bashers.